It's down on the playing test match.
This is the voice of Hooma, representative of the Bashar Galactic, speaking to you.
The Igigi were lesser gods that worked as the servants of the higher-level Annunaki gods before they refused to continue mining gold by revolting. As a solution, Enki headed up the creation of mankind, providing the Anunnaki with a new life. The new form is made entirely to serve as slaves. They were beings that were far below the order of even the lesser Igigi gods. This slave race, mankind, was created by genetically combining the DNA of primitive Earth beings, primates, with a section of Anunnaki DNA, which would bring procreation, speech, learning and modern bodies to the offspring of the primitive primates. They would then have the intelligence needed to work as the slave so that the gods and lesser gods wouldn't have to mine the gold. After the creation of man, the Igigi faded out of the Sumerian writings on the Anunnaki. So there is never a full explanation of exactly who these lesser god Igigi were, or whether they were a previous Annunaki creation or an entirely separate race of beings under the control of the Anunnaki. The lesser god description may simply describe beings from the stars under the control of the superior Anunnaki. That would make them lesser but still considered a type of god since they were not of Earth origin. Since we are never told exactly what happened to the Igigi, this mystery remains if a worker-slave force that revolted and refused to work for the Anunnaki. There are only two possible solutions. They would have destroyed the Igigi or left them here on the planet as the Anunnaki completed their gold extraction mission and left them here as a punishment. If by ancient text referring to the word Igigi with the family of tree of languages, some words still retain its ancient origin. If we look at the meaning of Igigi in Korean, here are some of the meanings. As a pure and usual Korean noun word, Igigi means overcoming, winning over someone or victory. As you know, overcoming is what Igigi won against stronger beings. I think Korean word Igigi is a trace of Sumerian word Igigi. Igigi's brother word in Korean is Ijum. Both are noun among various related words. The variations are presented because Korean is a agglutinative language, and Sumerian is also a agglutinative language, in same meaning. Ending with M in noun word is apparent characteristic of Sumerian. There are many traces of Sumerian words and pure Korean words. To know Sumerian culture, you should study Korean and Korean culture. Anunnaki has also Korean equivalent word. It's Hanyul Nagi. Hanyul means sky or heaven. Nagi or Naigi is guys. Yes, it means exactly same meaning of Anunnaki. Certain Sumerian writings speak of them as the same as the Anunnaki, as in the Epic of Gilgamesh, and in others the 7 judges of Ereshkigal in the story of Ishtar's descent into the realms of the dead. In the Middle Babylonian period, the introduction of the Igigi was that they were the servants of the lords of the sky before they revolted, and the god Enki was tasked to make a new workforce who can withstand the rigors mining hardship. Hence man was made first, but he was sterile. Not until Enki made upgraded version a woman was made so they could procreate. Man's template was made and the woman was upgraded version of man. With combination of the two, a new race will be born, one much like the Anunnaki but lesser than the creator themselves, tasked to do the mining work on Earth. From the caves of Zimbabwe, some of the oldest mining caves were located, and some of the tribal history of the area was passed on for generations. It shows the Igigi came to Earth wrapped in some cocoon or even hatched. As the Igigi workforce came to be, there were classes, some workers and some leaders, but there are other races depicted on the walls. These are Igigi and reptilian worker force guards. Notices the differences in appearances that has been drawn. On the drawings it shows that the reptilians were guarding the workforce, also guarding stargates that the Igigi operated. If the Igigi were strong enough to control reptilians and hybrids reptilians in their overall running of operations, it means the Igigi would be another faction of the Anunnaki as non-ruling class or overseer class, but laborers or another race. In the prologue to the famous Code of Hammurabi, it is indicated that the Anunnaki elevated the god Marduk among the Igigu gods. As mentioned above, it is not clear how many and which gods belong to the Igigu, although the god Marduk appears to belong to this group for certain. It is possible that the group included only 7. Other gods who may belong to this group are Istar, Asarli, Naramzit, Ninurta, Nuska, and Samas. Some gods seem to belong to both the Anunnaki and the Igigu.
I think there's going to be a lot of breakthroughs on the medical front, particularly around synthetic mRNA. You can basically do anything with synthetic RNA, DNA. It's like a computer program. So, I think with enough, with effort, that's not too crazy. You could probably stop aging, reverse it if you want. You can basically do it. You can turn someone into a freaking butterfly if you want with the right DNA sequence. So.